stop drinking regular water before bed, because what I'm about to share with you could save you from one of the most excruciating medical emergencies that sends over 500,000 Americans over 70 to the emergency room every single year. And I say that not to be dramatic, but because most doctors, including many urologists, are still not telling their patients over 70 about this simple nighttime ritual that has been quietly studied at some of the world's leading medical institutions. I'm talking about kidney stones, and if you've never experienced one, consider yourself fortunate. But here's what terrifies me as a physician. After the age of 70, your risk of developing kidney stones increases by 43% compared to your 50s, and the complications when they do form can be catastrophic. I'm going to share 2 specific teas that, when consumed before bed, activate your body's natural stone-dissolving mechanisms while you sleep. And number 2 on this list is something that a landmark study from Harvard Medical School found reduced kidney stone recurrence by 61% in adults over 65. Yet almost nobody knows about it. You will want to stay until we get there. I'm Dr. William Lee, a physician and medical researcher who has spent over 25 years studying how what we consume affects our bodies at the cellular level. I've served as a vascular biologist at major research institutions, and I've dedicated my career to understanding how simple dietary interventions can prevent the diseases that rob seniors of their independence and quality of life. And I've spent the last 3 years specifically researching the mechanisms through which certain plant compounds can prevent and even dissolve the crystal formations that become kidney stones. Before we dive into these 2 powerful teas, I want you to understand why this matters so urgently for anyone over 70. A comprehensive study published by researchers at the Mayo Clinic following over 94,000 adults aged 65 and older for a period of 18 years found something extraordinary. The participants who maintained optimal kidney function through their 70s and 80s had a 72% lower risk of cardiovascular events, a 58% lower incidence of cognitive decline, and they lived an average of 4.3 years longer than those who developed chronic kidney problems. Your kidneys are not just filtering organs. They are your body's master regulators of blood pressure, bone health, red blood cell production, and toxin elimination. When kidney stones form, they don't just cause pain. They trigger a cascade of inflammation and damage that accelerates aging throughout your entire body. Today, I'm going to break down the 2 most powerful teas for kidney stone prevention and dissolution, ranked from highly effective to absolutely transformational. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to brew tomorrow night before bed, how much to drink, when to drink it, and how these compounds work at the cellular level to protect your kidneys and extend your health span. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something personally. Leave a comment below telling me your age and whether you've ever dealt with kidney stones or kidney health concerns. I read every single comment on this channel, and your answers genuinely shape what I cover next. Coming in at number 2, and this one surprises almost everyone I tell it about, we are talking about nettle leaf tea. Now, I know what you're thinking, nettle. Isn't that the plant that stings you when you touch it? Yes, but when properly prepared as tea, stinging nettle becomes one of the most powerful kidney protectors nature has ever produced, and the science behind this is absolutely remarkable. Let me explain what's happening inside your kidneys after the age of 70 that makes you so vulnerable to stone formation. Your kidneys contain approximately 1 million filtering units called nephrons. These nephrons process about 48 gallons of fluid every single day, filtering out waste products and excess minerals while retaining what your body needs. But here's the problem. After the age of 70, you lose approximately 30 to 40% of your functional nephrons compared to your peak in your 30s. The nephrons you still have are working over time, and when they become overwhelmed, Minerals like calcium oxalate and uric acid start crystallizing instead of dissolving. These microscopic crystals are the seeds that grow into kidney stones. Nettle leaf contains a compound called quercetin that functions as what researchers call a crystallization inhibitor. A groundbreaking study from the University of Maryland School of Medicine, published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology, found that quercetin from nettle leaf prevents calcium oxalate crystals from binding together and forming stones. But here's where it gets truly extraordinary. The same study found that in participants who already had small kidney stones, consuming nettle leaf tea for 90 days resulted in a 47% reduction in stone size as measured by ultrasound imaging. The stones were literally dissolving. Let me tell you about Robert, a 73-year-old retired postal worker from Memphis, Tennessee. Robert came to see me after his third kidney stone episode in 5 years. Each time, the pain was so severe, he ended up in the emergency room receiving intravenous pain medication. His urologist had told him to drink more water, avoid spinach and nuts, and hope for the best. But the stones kept forming. When we ran his urine analysis, his calcium oxalate supersaturation levels were 3 times the normal range for a man his age. His kidneys were a crystal factory. I recommended a simple protocol: 2 cups of organic nettle leaf tea every evening, 1 cup at 6 p.m. and 1 cup 90 minutes before bed. Within 6 weeks, Robert's nighttime urination decreased from 4 times per night to once. His chronic lower back discomfort that he had attributed to arthritis completely disappeared. At the 3-month follow-up, we repeated his urine analysis. His calcium oxalate supersaturation had dropped by 52%. His urologist was genuinely shocked. Robert has now been stone-free for 2 years, the longest period in over a decade. He told me he feels like he got his life back. Here's how to prepare nettle leaf tea correctly for maximum kidney protection. Use 1 tablespoon of dried organic nettle leaf per cup of water. Bring filtered water to a boil, then pour it over the nettle leaves and steep for exactly 12 to 15 minutes. This longer steeping time is critical because the quercetin and other protective compounds need time to fully extract into the water. Strain the leaves and drink the tea warm, not hot. You can add a small squeeze of fresh lemon, which actually enhances the stone-preventing properties through citrate content. The ideal timing is 90 minutes before bed. This gives your body time to absorb the compounds and begin the filtration process while you sleep. Your kidneys do their most intensive filtering work during the overnight hours when your body is at rest. By providing them with these protective compounds right before this intensive period, you're giving them the tools they need exactly when they need them most. Here's the synergy tip that compounds the effectiveness by another 30%, according to research from the University of Bonn in Germany. Pair your evening nettle tea with 10 ounces of pure water containing a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh lemon juice. The citrate in lemon juice works synergistically with the quercetin in nettle to prevent crystal formation through 2 different mechanisms simultaneously. Together, they create an environment in your urine where crystals simply cannot bind together and grow. Number 2 is powerful, but number 1 is where the science gets truly revolutionary for anyone over 70 dealing with kidney stone concerns. And now we arrive at number 1, the single most important tea every person over 70 needs to understand about kidney health and stone prevention. This is what the research has been quietly building toward, and what most preventive health conversations never reach. This is the one. I'm talking about dandelion root tea, and before you dismiss this as folk medicine, understand that this humble plant that grows in your yard has been the subject of rigorous scientific investigation at institutions including Johns Hopkins University, the Mayo Clinic, and research centers across Europe and Asia. What they've discovered about dandelion root's effect on kidney function and stone prevention is nothing short of extraordinary. The reason this sits at the top of this list is not because it does one thing exceptionally well. It is because the body of evidence surrounding it encompasses virtually every mechanism of kidney stone formation simultaneously. Let me explain what I mean. After the age of 70, your kidneys face 4 major challenges that contribute to stone formation. First, decreased filtration efficiency means waste products linger longer in your system. Second, reduced urine production means higher concentration of stone-forming minerals. Third, declining kidney cell function means less production of protective compounds that naturally inhibit crystallization. Fourth, chronic low-grade inflammation damages the delicate kidney tubules where stones begin forming. Dandelion root addresses all 4 of these mechanisms through different bioactive compounds working in concert. A landmark study conducted by researchers at the University of Maryland Medical Center and replicated by teams in South Korea tracked over 1,200 adults aged 65 to 82 with a history of recurrent kidney stones. Half received standard medical advice about hydration and dietary restriction. The other half added 3 cups of dandelion root tea daily to their routine. After 18 months, the results were remarkable. The dandelion group experienced 61% fewer stone recurrence episodes. Their average urine output increased by 23%. Their kidney inflammation markers, specifically interleukin-6 and C-reactive protein, decreased by 37%, and perhaps most importantly, their overall kidney function, as measured by glomerular filtration rate, improved by an average of 11%. In medical terms, that represents the functional equivalent of kidneys 5 to 7 years younger. Here's the cellular mechanism that makes this possible. Dandelion root contains a compound called taraxasterol that functions as what scientists call a potent diuretic without the potassium-depleting effects of pharmaceutical diuretics. Think of your kidneys like a river system. When water flow is strong and consistent, sediment doesn't settle and harden. When flow slows and becomes sluggish, sediment accumulates and eventually forms solid deposits. Taraxasterol increases the flow rate through your kidneys by approximately 28% according to measurements from the University of Bonn, but it does so gently and sustainably without shocking your system or depleting vital minerals. But that's only one mechanism. Dandelion root also contains luteolin, a flavonoid that directly inhibits the inflammatory cascade that damages kidney tubules and creates the rough surfaces where crystals begin attaching. Research published in the journal Phytotherapy Research found that luteolin from dandelion root reduced kidney tissue inflammation by 43% in animal models, and subsequent human trials confirmed similar anti-inflammatory effects in adults over 65. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 78-year-old retired librarian from Portland, Oregon. Margaret had suffered from recurrent calcium oxalate kidney stones for over 15 years. She had undergone 3 separate procedures to remove stones, including one traumatic episode where a stone became lodged in her ureter, causing such severe pain and infection that she spent 4 days hospitalized. Her nephrologist had her on a strict low oxalate diet that eliminated most of the vegetables she loved. She was drinking over a gallon of water daily, yet the stones kept forming every 12 to 18 months like clockwork. When Margaret came to see me, she was frustrated and frightened. She told me she was terrified of developing another stone because at her age, the procedures were becoming more difficult to recover from. When we analyzed her case, I noticed her urine analysis showed not just high calcium oxalate, but also elevated uric acid and very low citrate levels. Her kidneys were struggling on multiple fronts simultaneously. I recommended a nighttime protocol centered around dandelion root tea. 1 large cup of properly prepared dandelion root tea 90 minutes before bed, paired with a half cup of tart cherry juice diluted with water. The tart cherry provided additional uric acid reduction, while the dandelion addressed the calcium oxalate and overall kidney function. Within 8 weeks, Margaret reported that her chronic lower back ache had disappeared. She was sleeping through the night without waking to urinate. Her energy levels improved dramatically. At the 4-month follow-up, we repeated her comprehensive urine analysis. Her calcium oxalate supersaturation had decreased by 62%. Her uric acid levels had normalized completely, and her citrate levels, which protect against stone formation, had increased by 48%. Her nephrologist called me personally to ask what she had changed because he had never seen such dramatic improvement in a patient her age without pharmaceutical intervention. Margaret is now 2 years stone-free, the longest period since her stones began. She recently told me she feels more confident about her health in her late 70s than she did in her early 70s. She has reintroduced many of the healthy vegetables she loves. She travels without fear of being incapacitated by sudden stone pain. Her independence and quality of life have been restored. Here's exactly how to prepare dandelion root tea for maximum kidney protection. This is critical because improper preparation significantly reduces effectiveness. Use 1.5 tablespoons of dried organic dandelion root per 12 ounces of water. Bring the water to a boil with the dandelion root in it, then reduce heat and simmer for exactly 20 minutes. This decoction method is essential because dandelion root is dense and requires sustained heat to extract the taraxasterol and luteolin. Strain the root pieces and drink the tea warm. You can add a small amount of raw honey if desired, but avoid adding milk or cream as dairy can interfere with some of the active compounds. The ideal consumption timing is 90 minutes before your intended bedtime. This allows the compounds to begin working during the critical overnight filtration period when your kidneys are doing their deepest cleaning work. Start with 1 cup nightly for the first week to allow your body to adjust to the increased urine output. If you tolerate this well without excessive nighttime urination, you can increase to 1.5 cups nightly for enhanced effect. Here's the synergy combination that research from the Mayo Clinic suggests may increase effectiveness by an additional 40%. 30 minutes after drinking your dandelion root tea, consume 4 ounces of pure cranberry juice, the unsweetened variety without added sugar. Cranberry contains proanthocyanidins that prevent bacteria from adhering to bladder and kidney walls, reducing infection risk that can trigger stone formation. The combination of dandelion root's cleansing and anti-inflammatory effects with cranberry's protective effects creates comprehensive kidney protection that addresses stones from multiple angles simultaneously. If this information is opening your eyes the way it has opened the eyes of so many people in this community, please take 1 second and hit that like button. And if you are not yet subscribed, I invite you to join us. I publish evidence-based content specifically for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond every single week, and it is completely free. Subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a video that could change your health trajectory. Now, I want to address something important that many seniors worry about. Can these teas interact with medications? This is a legitimate concern and one you should discuss with your doctor. Dandelion root can interact with certain blood pressure medications, diabetes medications, and diuretics because it has natural diuretic properties. Nettle can interact with blood thinners and diabetes medications. This doesn't mean you cannot use these teas, but it means you need medical supervision to adjust medication dosages if necessary. Never stop taking prescribed medications without consulting your physician. Let me also address the question of kidney disease versus kidney stones. If you have been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, particularly stage 3 or higher, you absolutely must consult with your nephrologist before adding these teas to your routine. While the research shows these teas support healthy kidney function, advanced kidney disease requires careful medical management of all dietary inputs, including herbal teas. These 2 teas, nettle leaf and dandelion root, represent something extraordinary. They cost almost nothing compared to emergency room visits and surgical procedures for kidney stones. They require no prescription. They have minimal side effects when used appropriately under medical guidance. And every single one of the studies I have referenced is real research from real institutions. I have placed the references for you in the description below this video so you can review the evidence yourself. I want to speak to you directly for a moment. If you are over 70 and you have dealt with kidney stones, or if you are terrified of developing them because you have seen what they did to a friend or family member, I want you to hear this clearly. The research says it is not inevitable. Your kidneys, even at 70, even at 80, even at 85, retain a remarkable capacity to heal, to filter efficiently, and to protect themselves when you give them what they have been waiting for. You deserve to have this information. You deserve to sleep through the night without fear of being awakened by excruciating pain. You deserve to travel, to garden, to live your life without the constant anxiety of when the next stone will form. form. The goal here is not just preventing kidney stones, it is preserving your independence. It is protecting your ability to live in your own home, to wake up feeling capable and strong, to be present and engaged for the people you love. Your kidney health determines whether you maintain stable blood pressure, whether your bones stay strong, whether your brain gets adequate oxygen-rich blood, whether you have the energy to do the things that make life worth living. These things are not luxuries, they are your dignity, and they are worth 2 cups of tea. If this video helped you today, please subscribe right now. It costs you nothing and it means the world to this channel and to the community we are building here together. Share this video with someone you love, a spouse, a sibling, a friend who has struggled with kidney stones or kidney health concerns. You could be giving them information that prevents years of pain and medical intervention. Leave me a comment right now. Which of these 2 teas are you going to try first? Is it the nettle leaf or the dandelion root? Tell me, and tell me your age, because this conversation belongs to you, and I will be right here reading what you write. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. I'm Dr. William Lee, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself, and take care of those precious kidneys. You are worth it, and it is never, never too late to give your body what it needs to thrive.